I have made my decision.
The winner
of RuPaul's Drag Race
is
it's chocolate. Oh, Jesus. Gross. It's chocolate.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another all-new X's for Show, your premier media response show, and of course some big news came out, so we're here to talk about all of the stars. You can check the show out at X's for Show on all your social, and as for me, you can check me out at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION, which is really just 6 letters.
And you can find me at TK Elemental.
You can find me at Peak Jonah.
And you can find me at Kev O'Reilly. And I am super stoked that we are finally here. We've been waiting a really long time, both for the reveal of when the season will start and the reveal of who's going to be on it. And now we know. Now we're here.
We are here. We are so excited. One of the things that I can't help but note is how much in all of my notes I keep shorthanding it to, the abbreviation, but it means I keep putting ASS9. And so I think it's really funny that I keep shorthanding this to asinine. But one thing that is definitely not asinine about this season is that the queens are all playing for charity. I can't wait to dive into that. That's going to be really beautiful. But something that is kind of asinine, and it's really no one's fault. I'm a little sad about the lack of seasons 15 and 16. Obviously, Ginger Minge will be the first person to be like, do not walk off of your season and into an All-Stars ever. But it was her who it was like, I got pushed into going to my All-Stars the day after my season. But who would you guys have liked to have seen from 15 and 16? Who are you just like dying for their All-Stars run? I'm going to be honest. I really would have loved a classic putting 2 queens with famous drama from their season against each other. Maybe a little season 5 All-Stars remix kind of situation. But I think Lucy and Lux are ripe for meeting back up on the runway. And I really hope that they dance fight.
It's Lucy and Lux. I mean, come on.
Lucy and Lux!
Except the thing is, I think that they're both too smart to let themselves look bad, which means that they probably would not have a lot of drama. So if we assume that would be there's a couple things. I also think Lux maybe wouldn't do it again. But if we assume not them for a number of reasons, Irene and maybe Selena.
Mistress and her grudge against the producers.
I only think that Lux is a possibility because we did see her on our beloved Glam Slam.
Yeah.
So she's clearly still tangentially related enough to do a web show filmed in a rec center. So
I get that. Lux recently did a podcast interview talking about how she really was disappointed at losing. And it really hurt her in a way that she talked about, even a year, 2 years later, she hasn't really processed it.
Are you talking about the one with Joseph Shepard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she cries at that. She's the rawest she's ever been. It's actually a really good interview, but
so I don't know if she would actually come back.
That's what I'm saying.
This isn't this isn't like Top Chef where they already know who the top 3 is going to be. Yes, they do that on Drag Race, but they specifically tell people on Top Chef who's going to be the top 3, and then everybody else kind of takes it out because they all think they all pretend to have a chance. But I don't know if Lux will be back. My picks: Irene, I would love to see back. Put her back. Princess Poppy, especially after the amount of time she's quit drag, and think it'd just be hysterical. Actual pick, probably Selena STDs. I love me some STDs. I think she's hysterical. She's a really great competitor. She's very funny. She's very charismatic. She makes great TV. She makes great interview. I think she's primed for an all-star, especially with more money, more access to. I hate saying better looks, but better looks.
I really want to kind of jump in on something you said there. The conversation about Lux being so so raw about it. Honestly, every one of these girls, they have to go in, whether it's Delulu or not, they have to go in with that kind of want. They have to need it that bad. And I love the stories about where like Christina Aguilera really did not believe she was going to win Best New Artist, in part because she didn't want the Best New Artist curse. But like, so that reaction when she wins, she's like, oh, we don't always think about the people that lose this reaction unless it's Russell Crowe. So one of the things that I really think about with this idea of no one goes on thinking they're going to lose is there
Right.
people who go on thinking I was born into this. It's the guy who's angry that he was a later draft pick. It's so much of this right now. But like the idea though that even if beyond the fact that Lux is representing for queer people of color in such a beautiful way, you're also always representing for your inner niche. You're my exact theater kid growing up who knew they could do it. And like the amount of pressure these incredible performers carry on their back to feel like they're not letting the world down. It's so powerful to hear that Lux takes that kind of world stage responsibility is so like a true performer, and like that's just really heartening to hear about somebody who didn't always show the most heart.
I get that.
To slightly pivot to bring it to season 16, Q made that outfit that Lux is wearing currently.
Cool.
Well, did we want to mention any 16 queens?
I was gonna say I know one season 16 queen who I want to see get the absolute all-starsiest treatment. I really want to see Dawn come through on a Dark Horse All-Stars beat. I want to see her just have an absolute great time, win or lose. I just want her to come in and have fun. We got a lot of Dawn, but so much of Dawn is literally based on the idea of always overcoming the next mental hurdle. So much of her identity is, free your inner child, feel good about you. And I think you could see the places that she was trying to navigate that cute giggle in front of the camera at times. And I feel like on an All-Stars, she's going to show the way a Q did, the way a Nymphia did, the way a Saphira did. And I just really look forward to her All-Stars. Try again for me.
My keyboard commands aren't working. If I had to pick, it would probably be Mirage and Tsunami.
Ooh, good ones.
Part of me wants to say Plain Jane, but I maybe want to let Plain Jane marinate for a few years, like beyond just like the few years it actually takes to go from your season to being on All Stars. I think Maya could also be interesting because my thing about Maya has always been like, I don't begrudge her the arc that she had, but I do think she should have gone home really early because I just think that the mistakes she made early on were early out mistakes. And while I'm happy she got to show so much more, I would have preferred that somebody like Mirage get to stay and that Maya had gone home earlier. But I would like to see Maya having gone home early had the time to marinate, change her whole thing, and come back in an All-Stars and really just impress. I honestly think, like, in some ways, if she did come back, it would be a little less impressive than if she had left after her first lip sync and come back just, like, fully more confident and ready to show all of the parts of herself. But Mirage is a big one. Mirage, I definitely want to see.
Oh, I just want to mention, just because I didn't, I was saying that I was thinking about Alyssa and Coco in their famous feud, and then coming back for All Stars. I feel like Maya is gonna have a feud with lip syncs in that same way, where she's gonna be like, "I fought with lip syncs every episode. I'm done flipping for lip syncs," and she and lip syncs will have actually made up, and it's all very sweet. Jojo, where are you coming from on this one?
My two New Yorkers, because I'm a sellout and I love a hometown hero story. Give me Megami and Plasma. I think the show didn't really feel invested in Megami, and then Megami had an amazing performance run in the Lollapalooza, and even though she didn't win, it still showcased that, like, oh, this is a very fascinating person who can really perform, who knows what they're doing. And it felt a little unfortunate the show didn't seem terribly interested in her in favor of other people who happen to just make great TV. Let's put it, I want to phrase it that way. I don't want to dim somebody else's light to try to shine a bigger light on somebody else, because that's not entirely fair. And Plasma, I think, is just somebody who's insanely talented and young, and then with a little more time, a little ripening, for somebody who's already so insanely and immensely talented, giving time to just a little bit of marinate, a little bit just to, smooth out those edges. I think she really is someone who could be a huge contender for the crown.
And Jonah, I just want to say I appreciate how hard you went out of your way to be like, it doesn't take dimming another queen's light to brighten another queen's. But part of what we are talking about is the law of inverse proportion. There is proportion. As one thing goes up, so too does the other quantity. As the girls are more and more talented, the show will just make more room for them. And so we got to 90-minute episodes and Untucked and Whatcha-Packin' and every web show under the sun. But then there's inverse proportion. The show can only get so long. So at a certain point, for some girls to get more, some girls have to get less. So
it's a thing I think about a lot with All Stars, and it was one of the reasons why I specifically didn't mention Lux for All Stars, is because you said something which is like every queen goes in expecting to win, but
except Magnolia Crawford.
Well, yeah, who had the right idea? I think more queens should go in expecting to do their best and wanting to win, but knowing that unless you fit really specific parameter, you got to know yourself. If you're not a seasoned queen, and if you are not somebody that really has noticed that if you're not a Valentina, where like you haven't been doing it long, but you're taking the world by storm when you do it, that like you've made a lot of people there's a lot of queens who are fantastic, but it's just, if there are 16 girls, your odds are already 1 in 16, which are not great odds. But then when you factor in like, okay, well, I'm competing against Sasha Colby or Safira Cristal, like I am maybe not as seasoned. I maybe don't have the same, like I haven't had the same experience with doing makeup and stuff like that. Maybe that knocks my chances down further. And so you got to have delusion to perform. I get that. But you also have to know what type of game you're playing, what type of show you're in. And I look at the girls from season 8 of All Stars, and I think it was all girls that, like, the only thing I felt bad about was that they couldn't all win. And I really liked all of them, and I really wanted to see them all go far. And it's sort of, there were a few, like, I mean, towards the end, it was really tough seeing Candy not win, even though I was rooting for Jimbo, because you could see that Candy was told she was a favorite and was set up. And as we know from the stories, she really was kind of switcherooed at the last minute, thinking like at the very least she'd have a fair chance between her and Jimbo. And she didn't even get that. And I would hate for that to happen to somebody like Lux, who is, like Candy, such a star outside of Drag Race and has so much charisma and has so much personality. And yeah, is a little rough and spiky and hard. But that attitude has also allowed her to maintain a comfort with her own dignity that I think the show sometimes tries to strip from you for the purpose of making really good television. And if you're a Gia Gunn, you can handle that. You bought into that. That is how you make your money, and you don't give a fuck. If you're a Lux and a Candy, I think you do care, and I think you go in with a lot of good faith. Like, I'm going to go in being amazing and having progressed miles beyond where I came in at the start of my season, and how can I help but not be really fantastic and not go really far? And the answer is, because we got some focus data saying people really like Jimbo, and now here we are at the finale and we're switching up the song.
I really love what you're saying, and I think it's something that we point to a lot on this show, and it's why I love that one of the war cries of season 16 was, have you seen the show, Tamar? It's a matter of knowing what you are getting yourself into. And it's really true across so much of reality television. But when it's a competition situation and when it's being specifically judged within a criteria based around a specific person, I always draw the comparison between Project Runway and Drag Race, where, at least fashion is a business industry where you can point to trends. RuPaul's Drag Race is what RuPaul says, and you need to, especially with how many seasons there are, really be watching and really be getting a sense of what the show is looking for and what Ru is looking for before going in.
Because it's not drag culture's RuPaul challenge show. It's RuPaul's Drag Race. Whereas, Project Runway has always been like Project Runway, best in fashion. You know what I mean? So and that was a loving Heidi Klum impression. Jojo, what you got?
I did the thing I wanted to point out, and Candy semi brought this up recently, at least came in my attention recently.
When you guys were talking.
Yeah, me and Candy, best friends, friend of the pod. Up until recently, runner-ups don't get anything. They don't get money, and that's true of majority of reality competitions, but in majority of reality competitions, they're not funding everything they're bringing to the show. There's a small argument to make, something like Top Chef. All right, you're bringing your knives, and there might be a little bit wear and tear, but you were going to be cooking with them anyway. It's not speeding up or slowing down that process. It was going to happen anyway. The same thing can be said about Project Runway. They're not bringing in their own sewing machine. They're not buying their own fabric. They're not bringing stuff from home. Everything there is provided for them. You could, in theory, make every single outfit while you're there. I don't know how. I don't think there would be enough time for that. But the amount of money that they expect people to come in now, where there is, people often bring back to the quote of season 8, Michelle saying to Chi Chi DeVayne, there are queens who don't have a pot to piss in. You don't need money to do drag. And that's true. You don't need money to do drag, but you do need money to go on RuPaul's Drag Race because they do expect a certain level of talent and polish. And if you don't have that, you will get read and you will get booted out. And quite frankly, people online will also talk about you as kind of way, regardless if they know of your financial status or not.
And well, and in that, I do want to kind of pivot to our reveal and talk a little bit about that in tandem with this, because the major thing that I want to comment on is with these girls in it for charity, there's, and I mean this like with absolute love, you don't exactly ask somebody to come on for charity if they're not doing functionally. And so the idea that this is moving to a place where that is a different kind of conversation is very important.
Well, and the understanding is definitely they had a runway stipend, but the most prevalent rumor is that they were all paid on top of their stipend to come on, which I think is great.
I think it's kind of necessary.
Yeah.
This is actually a TV show. It's not just a cool hangout time.
And I think we are getting to the point where no queen has to say yes. They don't have a good show if great queens don't say yes, and great queens should not say yes if it's going to take away. Because for some of those queens, the rumor is that they got $50,000 to come on. For some of those queens, that's not too many gigs. That's not the amount of time that they're away. Now, they can increase their booking fee and do more based on going on, but like a lot of those queens could just not go do the show and make that money from the comfort of their own home doing the job they were going to do anyway. So you better pay them. It's your problem. It's not theirs. All Stars 2, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and so that's even kind of what I was gonna get to, where the big thing here is if this is a charity competition, this is no longer a talent show. This is now a very different creature. While yes, there is money on the table, the money on the table isn't for these girls, which is, I think, why you have Gottmik, you have Plastique, you have Roxxxy Andrews. I don't know that any of these girls are exactly hurting. I can't speak to them personally. I don't know their situations. But one of the things that I think is important is they picked a bunch of girls with name recognition. And within that scale, within that scope, I think we are talking a little bit more about like asking literal celebrities to come on and be celebrities now. This is not the same thing. Great. This is
welcome.
not the same thing
George.
as asking these young ladies to saddle up and strap in them boobs. Oh God, Roxxxy, you look like Adam Warlock. This is
Got that 30s blonde, loving it.
Oh
the best tweet I saw was Donald Trump if he slayed.
And also, I just want to know why, and if somebody can explain it to me, because I think it's her brand. I love what she does, but Miss Vanjie's insistence on getting like glad bag trashier every time she comes on is straight up Prince in Miami, and I love it. I worship it, but girl, making choices. Okay.
I mean, somewhere around Manila season 4 of All Stars. Yeah, so somewhere around season 4, the tide did turn, and it went from the girls really want to get back in because a lot of them want more screen time, kind of. You know, the girls that the All Stars 2 girls, like a lot of those season 5 girls, it had really been a minute, and Drag Race had gotten a whole new audience that maybe, like, just because of how Access was at the time, hadn't seen them.
I think it's amazing that there is room for house elves on this show, and I do think
those curls, the horn curls.
Yeah,
Jorgeous is Jorgeous, but if you go back one image, that is the proportion on that frame is something else.
Jorgeous is tiny. I don't know
she's
the exact height. I think she's like 4'8".
Seriously,
Honestly,
small girl. But the math changed around season 5 of All Stars, and it's more that they need to sweeten the pot for the girls and make it a worthwhile show to come on to. And I think, you know, I've said for a while, like I was saying about this last season of UK versus the World, that I wish that was for charity, because it just feels like, for one thing, just like after the thing with Pangina, I just never want to see a queen that is a professional that has like had that level of respect have to go through that. And so I always want to see it be something where it's like, we're all just here for fun, we're all just here to show looks and have a great time, and nobody's relying on the money, nobody's trying to win because this could make or break their career.
Cunty fashion party. Yeah,
I just want to see everybody have fun, and I love that really is what we're getting here. It's a great mix of, you know, classics and new girls who we just are happy to see again. I just need to speak to the dentists of the world who are doing this to drag queens, because it's not okay.
We're gonna get them. We're gonna get them for you guys.
We really are. This is a personal crusade.
These are very big, very shiny teeth.
It is just one block of white. It is a horseshoe in your mouth. It is the polar opposite of Vanta Black. Not a single color absorbed.
It's Vanna White.
It is Vanna White. Thank you.
Holy
the opposite
shit,
of Vanta Black is Vanna White.
They all need to do what Trixie did, which is showcase other people's work and say, I don't want this. Give me the good. Give me real.
Can I get like a shitty New York club scene person who like gets the teeth done, and within 2 weeks they've knocked 2 out and already cigarette stained them?
Thank you.
Where is my Lisa E's falling down a flight of stairs?
TK feels represented right now. To what you're saying, TK, the shift. So All Stars is a very interesting beast, because when All Stars 2 happened, we had that amazing cast. Part of it was because All Stars 1 was 4 years prior, and they had no idea if they were ever going to do it again. And this was in a very big shift when Drag Race was still on logo, and it was like everything is up in the air, and it's like, well, this might be your only opportunity, so you have to do it. Now All Stars is a main fixture, and it comes every year. But part of that problem then becomes, as you said, the turnaround in All Stars 5. Part of that problem is the girls all talk to each other. They all know who gets called and asked to come in. And when a lot of bigger names got asked, and they found out that Shea Coulee was going, they said no, because they didn't want to compete against Shea. because Shay's a powerhouse. And it's not
Mama.
that All Stars 5 was handed to Shay. Shay had to work for it. She had stiff competition between Cracker and Jujubee. I'm not gonna. That's not the narrative. But then becomes a problem where if they hear somebody who they know has a good shot, and the girls know who has a good shot of winning, they're not going to show up. So we do get this. Is it actually All Stars, or is it the people who wanted to show the three people who know that their production's favorite and they're going to get far, and everybody else who's just there to fill it out? And it's not exactly fair. That's why I think the format of All Star 7's work. And I was initially like resistant to being like, no, All Stars should be gladiatorial, and then everybody should die. Not really. But then I think about it, and it's no. The amount of time, the amount of money, the amount of everything that goes into it for just this competition that asks so much of everything. No, scale it down. Have it so that nobody goes home, so that nobody has anything to lose, so that you give an incentive for people who did make top 4, top 5, top 3, top whatever, a reason to want to go back. Nobody's going to want to come back if they know Saphira Crystal is coming on the next All Stars, if they know they have a chance to go home. Why would you want to compete against Saphira? You know you're probably going to lose. But
musicals used to put off opening if they heard that they were going to be opening against something insanely impossible to beat. You didn't want to go up against that show that always wins every time it opens.
Don't movies do that too? When they're like, oh, they'll like stagger, or they'll like release early or later depending on what's coming out whatever weekend, because they don't want to compete against
if there hadn't been memes, Barbie or Oppenheimer, that was a chicken game. Somebody would have quit.
Yes.
The thing was, it turned into a competition where they both couldn't lose because people were so hyped to make a choice. That it was like everybody's going to get to the movies regardless of which one they see. It'll be a better turnout than if we pushed one of these movies so that it didn't compete with the other one. That is like a black swan event. That never happens.
It's Spider-Man No Way Home being about a bunch of people who used to not be able to be together suddenly being able to come back together and celebrate in a public space to save the day, coming out right after lockdown. It is literally how that Spider-Man movie is so successful.
Yep. And if you don't have that magic, you just back down, which I think, Jonah, you're absolutely right. We don't know. We'll hear random things from like a Roscoe's viewing party where somebody says, I was asked but didn't do it. And usually if they do that, they don't explain why. It is the rare queen that will be like, I was asked, but I found out that, Saphira is going to be on. So I said no because I'm not dumb. And that's what I was saying. That's really my fear with somebody like Lux, is that depending on who else they asked, I think Lux would kill in this group, because I could believe that Lux is every bit as loved by production, by the audience as a whole. I just really felt like from minute one, they're gunning for Jimbo last season. They want Jimbo to win. We all love Jimbo. Jimbo's been so funny, and it just keeps getting funnier and funnier. Like, how can she not win? And I didn't care that the Heidis of the world and the Lala Rees weren't going to win, because they seemed a little more okay with it. But there are a lot of girls where I'm like, I just don't want to send you there when you were just out of reach of the Crown Year season, and then have it be like, oh, you are competing against the one girl that has had the best glow up, who had the best tour, who did the best, interview with Maddie Morphosis, and now everybody's obsessed with her and wants her to win. And you went on the show thinking it was really going to be your time. I love this group because they're all equally there are things about each and every one of them that I love, and I could see being the shining thing that carries them through the season and makes them so interesting. And they've all got a little bit of garbage to them that I think could just kind of sneak in there and rot them throughout the entire thing. But again, it's all for charity, so it's fine. It does not. It's for funsies.
And we haven't said it out loud yet. And I don't believe it's been confirmed in any way, but it wouldn't be unprecedented. And I think it feels like it's probably likely for this season. But do we think this is going to be one of our favorite things? Nobody goes home this season.
I think because it's for charity, it hopefully has that design so that the girls can continuously earn for their charity.
Yeah.
I think that's also why the cast is so small, probably, as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got the badges, and
And just to jump into the season a little bit, I do want to like comment on each one of these fabulous girls. It's because they're all amazing, and each one of them has some it factor, and each one has a charity. And I think since you were pointing out these girls are all amazing, and I don't want to see any of them go home. I want to run through how each one is kind of an amazing success. Each one of them has some amazing thing about them, and like. There's something kind of amazing about, Angeria is fighting for the, NBJC, which is such an important thing. Vanjie is fighting for the ASPCA after skinning that jacket. And so, like, it's really exciting to see these girls and Nina West being the smiliest, sweetest person. So let's start with Gottmik.
That was the best take I could get. I really tried to be kind to Nina West. The Gottmik one, obviously I was joking.
Well, Nina, I get it. As somebody who has a very long upper forehead region, I wear big hats. I get it.
She just decided to goon in her introduction, and I can't help that.
Yeah, it's if anybody's ever watching this and you're on Drag Race, please have moments where you're just standing still so that it's easier to get shots.
Yeah,
and
try not to do this.
Be like those amazing models in all the Instagram videos where they do the.
And also, nobody ever said anything bad about a solid print white T-shirt,
Why do you think I do this?
No, we did.
This is nice.
We ripped on Plain Jane for having straight boy fashion in the workroom.
No, actually, Kevo and I were walking through Target, and we literally found what Plain Jane was wearing in the confessional.
She's
in
all
the
over
seasonal
Target.
Clearance at Target.
Okay, but she wore a Portland, Maine sweatshirt in the workroom, and we love her for that.
I got a new job, and at my new job, a bunch of us were like, no, you don't understand. Portland, Maine is the food vacation capital of the Northeast. And like, I have literally been able to bank friendships on how good Portland food is. So Plain Jane really knows what she's playing. Gottmik is such a legend, such a first of her and his kind. On this show, really blazing new trails, and frankly is one of the queens who is more a success than some of the show itself is. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way Raja really raised fashion and Raven really raised makeup, I think Gottmik really raised theatrical makeup and really pushed us to think about what is performance art and what redefines media. And I just really, Jonah, I know you're a huge Mick fan.
Oh, I am. I should have brought it out. I have a Gottmik sticker that it's, crash the system. I might not be trans, but I'm happy to crash the system. I love Mick. I really, really do. I don't know what this says about me. I love the way that Gottmik speaks because it's so. She speaks like she's in the Californians. I love
when Gottmik does a Gottmik impression.
Yes.
Where there's even more vocal fry.
It's perfect. It's the funniest thing in the world to me. I'm obsessed with the way she speaks.
It's a snake on a griddle. It's so fried and
gorge. She's very LA. I love that about her. She's somebody who I'm so excited to see just the fashion, because she is somebody who I know you guys weren't specifically there when season 13 aired, but when her promo image dropped, we were between her and Simone, we were like, oh, it's gonna be a good season. And she knows what the fuck she's doing, so I really she also loves the show. She loves production. She literally told Rue, I'm staying in the workroom. I'm coming back next season. So I know she, and especially without the stakes, if it's true that nobody's going home, I know that she's really happy to be back. So that's always exciting when somebody's excited to come back.
Right.
Now, Teak, tell me, are you a Mick head, or did you get enough of Gottmik?
No, I love Gottmik. I have such high hopes for her. Gottmik had a path that I really enjoy, which is it's kind of like the Nymphia path of I don't know if I can do this thing, but in Gottmik's case, Nymphia was lying. Nymphia was fucking around with everybody. Nymphia knew she could do the thing she could do, and she was just being a little goblin. Gottmik legitimately didn't know that she was funny until she went through the roast process and had some of the best jokes. And the thing is, I like a person that discovers that stuff and is like, yeah, that's correct. It is correct that I'm good at that. I'm just going to go with it and be good. And you're never going to catch me in a moment of like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, oh, I've got such self-doubt. Just try it. If you do the thing that they always tell you, which is apply your talent to any challenge you get, then you're either going to succeed or fail. And if you fail, try again. If you succeed, just go with it. That's great. I love seeing people that can be really, I'm using this word a lot, but dignified in their successes. And dignified in their, in their failures as well. But Gottmik was such a surprise because she really sold herself as like, I'm amazing at makeup. Who the fuck knows about anything else? I do what I do well, but I don't know if I can do any of this other stuff. And then she was great at a lot of it and just went with it every time. And so I'm now curious to see, years after proving that and working, and she was already working a lot, so she's a different queen in that way, but I'm so curious to see where she's at and how she feels about doing Drag Race stuff again. I think she's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And I can't wait. Keva, would you bring us back to that big old board? One of the things that's so exciting is that Roxxxy Andrews isn't just a Drag Race legend. She's sort of a drag legend at this point. I do wish she didn't look like an extra from Melrose Place cosplaying as Lobo, but it is definitely her decision to come as the literal gayest version of Judas Priest. And I
love that some people walked out on SNL. Jan Hooks quit the show because he hosted.
Oh, Andrew Dice Clay?
Looks like a gay Andrew Dice Clay.
Hey, Andrew Dice Rob Halford. And
which is now I'm realizing very Adam Lambert, so that's a lot of stuff.
But actually, all of the things that we are naming are either gay tropes or people who treaded so close to gay tropes, there was more gay bear porn of them than needed to be. So Roxxxy is very clearly identifying with an element of gay culture that I'm very positive on, obviously.
Aware of, yeah.
But I want to say that seeing Roxxxy here is really cool. Obviously, with Gottmik being in it for a charity whose name says exactly what they are, Trans Lifeline. We're so proud to see Gottmik getting to offer this sort of support that, they always wanted to see in the world. People might not be as aware, but Miracle of Love, I did some research, is a nonprofit medical assistance servicing queer people, women, people in need in Central Florida. They have a long history of working with people through the AIDS struggle, being there for people who needed it when no one else was. And so Roxxxy being a part of an Orlando tradition when she herself is an Orlando-esque tradition is just really amazing. I just would not want to be the TSA agent that has to wand this jacket.
No. It's probably plastic.
No, we're not at Plastique yet.
Stop.
I had a little speck on my screen, and I thought it was Roxxxy had an eyebrow ring. So no, that's not true. She's Roxxxy
She's going
Andrews.
full JoJo Siwa this season.
Oh, girl. Girl, that's all. Listen, that's another podcast, but that is all calculated. I think this entire thing is a full stunt queen. Roxxxy Andrews, she's here. She's here to make it clear. I love Roxxxy Andrews. Roxxxy Andrews, one drag queen.
Yes.
Truly, I don't think every girl loves working with Roxxxy. I don't think I've heard people say bad things about how her work ethic, what she does. But if I'm not mistaken, she's also consistently on time, early, which is a great quality to have in a drag queen. I might be wrong about that, but she's great. Phenomenal TV. She's somebody who I think doesn't realize how funny she is sometimes. But similar to Alyssa Edwards, where sometimes when they try to be funny, it doesn't always work out. But when they're just kind of being themselves, I think they're hysterical. Roxxxy Andrews, and she's also truly the blueprint for so many drag queens. Between her and Raven, the amount of people who just copied what they did is astronomical.
Well, and both of them could be the employees behind the counter at a Joyce Leslie. So I feel like you are right. They are definitely the blueprint for something.
What is Joyce Leslie? I see the name everywhere.
It was like
she'll be on season 17.
it was like a
Stop
working
it.
girl's Claire's. Like
Oh,
if you
no,
were
you know what?
17 and had a job and it needed collars.
You know what? Joyce Leslie is going to be on Global All Stars. That's what it is. That's why I'm getting confused.
You know, I think that classic Roxxxy is the hottest Roxxxy, but I love her journey. I like a thick boy. This Roxxxy, she seems so happy. She seems radiant, and I really root for her. You know, TK, you are somebody whose take on villains is always fascinating. And when I say villains, I obviously mean like Harley Quinn over here. I mean somebody who we're told was a bad guy, but was she ever really? Was she just drawn that way by men?
No. She was a bad guy, but it's also
Immediate
fine.
answer.
Yeah, 100%. It's also fine. It's just a TV show. We're fine.
And she's wearing that cool Brooks Brothers necklace. That's what that is, right?
That is it. It's Brooks Brothers. You got it. No, she like the entire outfit is Balenciaga, of course. She got on
that
Twitter.
What it is?
Yeah.
Has she mentioned it a lot? Has
maybe
it
once
come
or
up?
twice. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not Brooks Brothers?
No, sir. I'm sorry to report. No, or maybe they're doing a collab. But she also immediate meme queen for this announcement. The amount of times that "Baby, you can't read the doll" has been chopped into various memes. It's just the funniest thing. For one thing, it's just a really funny entrance line to come in on, and really stupid. And I think this is where I'm like, I think that Roxxxy doesn't know how funny she is, and I think she went in a little bit serious about that line. Like, it was supposed to be more sassy and attitude, and it's just very silly and funny, and I don't know. I just never know with her. I will be so interested to see. You know, she came on the show last time with all of her best friends.
8 years ago.
And stayed on because of all of her best friends. It's going to be a lot more difficult this time around. And she really, you're right, it's been 8 years. And she was a lot better in All Stars than she was on her original season. I think she could be even better here. But Roxxxy, for as great as she did, might not be great at Drag Race. She is a phenomenal queen, and sometimes that can get you really far. But I think Roxxxy might not be great at Drag Race. And so this will be an interesting one.
All right. Now, let's talk. Okay. I'm here. Hello. I walk backward. Yeah. Hey. Okay. I look like Prince this season. Ha. Okay. First of all, that there is no 1997 PS2 platformer starring an animated Miss Vanjie as some sort of leopard creature. We're actually all like, I understand that you have some things about her that you don't love, but Vanjie is Jersey trash to me. I love Vanjie's image. I love
so many of these queens are basically just Mortal Kombat characters. Let's be
Yes. That is how I feel. We just finished Knuckles, which, by the way, if you have not finished Knuckles and you have not yet seen Stockard Channing Drew Krav Maga, you are missing so much. But number two, I genuinely think that Miss Vanjie has the magical energy of like the 7-Up mascot Dot, or like Crash Bandicoot, right? Like, this is just Crash Bandicoot was a drag queen, and I genuinely love it. I love
we
it.
be real for a second? The Noid.
The Noid.
And I don't mean that.
Yes.
I don't mean that positively.
Well, avoid the Noid, so
yeah, I do be trying. I'm sorry. I think she's annoying as shit. I was here for I was here for Miss Vanjie. I don't necessarily like the precedent that was set by bringing just her and Shangela back. You know, at the end of the day, it's fine. It is what it is.
Well, we can't all be Eureka and sprain our ankle or whatever.
If only.
I fell down.
Ow. She came back. She had a season. I don't know. I just think she has a lot of the same loud, obnoxious abrasiveness that I really respect how it's part of her character that makes her the strong person. It's similar to Candy. Like
Candy,
I get that.
they're the same
I get
frequency.
that what it is the whole package for them. And if you want what you love about them, you can't leave off this stuff that might be a little grating. I get that. It is not enjoyable for me to watch. I still want to see them do their best. I just it does wear on me in a way that I just don't fall in love with them. I see so much talent. I see so much to be positive about. It's just not for me to enjoy.
Jojo, also I want to say, hey, back to Manchester, England. Hey. We're just talking some Drag Race All-Stars Season 9. You know, Jojo, we were with you when the Miss Vanjie thing happened, and we were literally, and I don't want to get us attacked, so I'm just going to say we were with a Drag Race alum that weekend at a public event, and you got to do the Miss Vanjie thing with a Drag Race contestant
Yes.
that weekend. How do you feel about the one, the only Ms. Mateo? Well, not the only Ms. Mateo, that's for fucking sure. This far back out.
Contrary to TK, I love Miss Vanjie. Miss Vanjie,
Same.
Jinx Monsoon called her the DMX of drag, and it is the funniest thing in my mind. And
I think
it's the only
she's
thing
Ja
I will
Rule.
ever think about it.
I get it. Same. I think
Vanjie gonna what? Vanjie gonna roll. Vanjie gonna give it to you. That's what she sounds like. She literally sounds like a motorcycle.
murder.
She's incredible. She's so funny. She's so charismatic. She's so engaging. Everything about this queen is. She literally was the first eliminated and came back by virtue of memes. This wasn't a Eureka situation. This wasn't a Cuckoo situation where there was legit medical reasons why those people were brought back. She was brought back because of memes. She's literally the Morbius of drag.
Yeah, but successful.
But successful, and we love her.
It is always Vanjie time, I guess.
She Vanjie'd all over the place.
I just really think that
favorite part.
if there is in fact a film about Fire Festival, if Vanjie doesn't play Ja Rule, we've done something wrong. But I really think this is the worst entrance outfit I've seen in a while. I hate this.
My only defense is maybe that entering is chaos, so you never know if you're going to need to be dressed for an elegant dinner party or if you're going to be hosed down with whipped cream and covered in candy corn.
Is chaos the party drug she took before getting dressed? Is that what you're saying?
That's what the crew passes out to keep them docile. Absolutely.
It's what she got at the dentist before she got her teeth done, and it never wore off.
Yes,
to
the
the
dentist
dentist.
gives it to them. Anyway.
Okay, this next queen, I am so fucking nuts. So excited about this next queen. I love Angeria. I think she is so fun. She's got so much personality. I will say something. I feel a little weird saying it, but there's something about the fact that Angeria chooses to continue looking like herself. I often get worried when you choose to do the surgeries you choose and you feel good about you. Make whatever aesthetic choices you make. But something I think is beautiful is Angeria kind of seems to love her face. And she knows how to make her face look beautiful. And she didn't go away and come back a different girl. Like I guess I maybe felt a little betrayed by Roxxxy Andrews coming back like a skinny little thing in her All-Stars because I love that she was a thick boy. And I love that Angeria is coming back still representing a real looking human being. She doesn't look plastic. She doesn't look like she's had her face surgically altered to high health. She just still has that beautiful, innocent charm. And like anybody can do whatever they want. I just think it's really cool getting to see both sides of it in this case.
I do think there is something akin to I don't like old money, new money comparisons because they're just kind of gross.
Agreed.
But there is something that I think unfortunately has happened in this culture in particular where you get success and you go for some body modding, which I think is fantastic, but I think it's one of those things where you really don't want to do it lightly, and you don't want to dive into anything, and you don't want to go, and this is something that Rue herself has been really fantastic about, and she talks about all the time on her podcast. You don't go to the plastic surgeon and say, make me look 20 years younger. You go and say, make me look the best that you can.
Madonna goes to the plastic surgeon and says, give me the dream of 1,000 cats.
Kill everyone you have to and pull my face back like Star Trek Insurrection or Nemesis. But you really do want to be conservative with these things, and particularly if you have bad teeth, if you have like health is a problem teeth, you get them fixed. But you do what Maya did, goddammit. How brave. She went on Drag Race in full braces. She didn't get them all shaved down, knocked out, and put a block of porcelain in her head. Because unfortunately, I just don't think it looks good, and I can understand why everybody just dives right into it. But when you see a queen like Angeria who just glowed up, there's nothing massive where you're just like, holy shit. And I get the lips. The lips is like that's
just a time
hour
saver.
I was gonna say it's an hour off your day. I fully get it. But there are a lot of times where it's just like, Jesus, the lips, dude. And so when you see queens that show up looking elevated and polished based on where you last saw them, but it's not just like a face full of filler, a mouth full of white,
right?
Like, there is something a little bit refreshing about it. And I feel like if this keeps going on for a while, you really are going to have that vanguard of girls who is like, this is what you actually want to do when you get your plastic surgery money, so as not to, look like you're wrapped in plastic at all times. And Angeria will be one of those people.
Jojo, I just said to you the other day that Angeria for me is like she's one of the personality queens. I famously bring up all the time in a way that's dorky that the first time Jada walked into the workroom, I was like, she is the most beautiful, kind, real human being. I hope she wins. And I felt the same way about Angeria, and then she didn't. How do you feel about the amazing Ms. Van Michaels and all of her, I think, magnanimity of self?
I love Angeria. Angeria is not that I don't. Do I know Angeria personally? Yes, I do. Similar to how I know Candy Muse. No, I don't. I do not know Angeria. That's no. But she's truly like. I don't always want to judge someone's character or say like this is who they are, how they come across screen. But she is somebody who does feel like they are just a very genuine, warm, cool, interesting person she's incredibly talented. She has this big heart that she wears on her sleeve that she comes across as just, she's just like infectiously like joyful. Like
yes.
She just feels like so much like fun to be around. Like I feel like there's a levity to her, and you compared her to Jada, and not to compare queens in that regard, but people have talked about how like Jada is like the light of the room every time she's in the dressing room. Like she truly is like the joy, the everything. And I feel like I get the exact same vibes from Angeria.
Same. That's how I feel. She just makes me happy. She makes me happy. TK, Kevo, how do you guys feel going into this season, having this top row of queens? Is there any queen that you want to say a little bit more about before we go all bottom row?
No, they're all great. I'm excited.
And all good select. I don't love seeing repeats on All Stars, especially while we are not yet getting the thing we keep talking about, which is more diversity of All Star style programming. Mm-hmm. But Roxxxy's a great performer, so it's not like it's someone I regret seeing on All Stars again. It's just a general feeling.
I agree, and there's another repeat on here, and I'm really excited to see that person. I'm Kevy, can we just get to Shannel real quick, because I need to get a couple of things off my chest. I'm really excited to see. I want to see Shannel perform in All Stars on her own. I am not saying Chad carried her, but I'm saying that All Stars 1 was designed so that Chad could get a crown. And I say that with all the Mondo love I have. And I love what Shannel brought to the show, but I've never been a huge Shannel fan. That said, I am of the mindset that we don't listen to the people that were there enough. We read a lot of books about people who interviewed 12 people that were at Stonewall, but were very hesitant to read a single person's account, and I understand why. But what Shannel offers us is a journey back to that moment, the Genesis moment for the series itself, for All Stars, and just maybe for the first girl to publicly be like, Rue, you're an idiot. And Shannel, mama, this is your time. And I'm glad it's for charity, because people fight more for people they care about than themselves often. And if Shannel was in this for herself, she'd probably while out sometimes. But knowing that she's in this for charity, Shannel girl, I'm here for you. Oh, and she's playing for me. She's playing for the Anxiety and Depression Association of America.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. Guys, how do you feel about number 5 herself, Shannel?
Shannel is
She's
perfection.
Beautiful.
Inside and out. Shannel
She's up here every slide.
OG rant of all rants. Shannel makes such good television. It's insane. We miss this one, but it makes the most sense seeing how much spotlight she got in All Stars 8, between coming back as a lip sync assassin and then having a walkthrough, which was completely unprecedented. That I don't know if Raven was like, "Yeah, Shannel, you're here. Let's go do this real quick." It was really fascinating to see how much stock they're putting into her already, and I really enjoy that because I think Shannel is phenomenal. I think she represents Vegas in a way that's so enjoyable. Also, a lot of these girls have done their Vegas residency, so a lot of them also I have that in common in a way of like, a lot of them already know each other, even regardless of whether they were on the same season or not.
Oh, wow. Because, yeah, a big point that we're going to get to is that this is literally just 5 seasons and none for season 12.
Yeah.
And none for season 12. Bye. But no, I love Shannel. I love the big drag that Shannel does. Shannel does drag. Shannel, subscribes to the bigger is better, but I'm still going to show as much body as I can. And I really have to respect that about her.
She's Earth, Air, Fire, Water, Harvey Firestein. She is...
No, that's Nina West.
Oh, my God. I can't wait to talk about Nina West. TK, I believe you watched a bunch of season 1 physically with me. Then you were in season 3 with us, because we watched a bunch of the first 4 seasons in Maine that week. Shannel is such an OG bitch. I feel like we would have gone to high school with her. This is some MTV's Next Bus filters that this poor woman had to be under. Where do you show Shannel yourself?
I don't super care about Shannel. I will be fascinated to see where she's at. She's not a queen that I am really following around. But I will say I do love a Vegas girl. I love a showgirl. Because I get that there's a work thing there that I understand. I sometimes really don't get the pageant girls because it's just a life that I don't do. I don't do a lot of bars or clubs anyway, but then the ones that I do are in the Northeast. So pageants are not a huge thing. Even out of Maine, like the Boston.
We like a chowder.
Yeah, precisely. The Boston scene does not do a lot of pageantry, but I'm fascinated by the Vegas girls because there's a big work ethic involved, and I think Shannel is absolutely cuckoo bananas, but she is definitely a hard worker, and I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out here all these years later. I mean, all these years after even her All-Stars appearance. She's got nothing but, runway to show us stuff. So that's fun.
And from Shannel, who is such an OG queen, to another queen that I think really represents the heart of the brand. Jorgeous is such a fascinating queen, and I see that she's playing for the National Alliance for Mental Illness, similar to the way that Shannel played for, or is playing for, Anxiety and Depression Association of America. It's so great to see so many associations toward the betterment of every person in the world who might need it. But I do just want to give a special shout out because I brushed over it, and I mentioned it earlier, but I should mention it every time. It's so great to see that Angeria is playing for the association for an association for national Black justice. This is so important. People don't realize that the world still really does kind of go to the other side of the street, and that is a horrifying thing to realize still exists in the jury room as well. And getting to see Angeria use this beautiful platform to speak so importantly, really incredible. But on to something a little bit less meaningful and a little bit sillier. Jorgeous is sort of like what happens if you put sexy dancing in a dress and then say, but like, be adorable. And she does it. She is so amazing. She is so cute. I feel like she was all cuteness in her season. I didn't feel like she necessarily performed the most holistic package. And we've seen all-star seasons give like James Mansfield an opportunity to show that complete package and how beautiful you've become. But I think there's also people like Evie Oddly who didn't necessarily have the opportunity to shine as brightly in their all-stars because there was an expectation of who they were and who they'd be as a result of their season. And I wonder if Jorgeous is going to be pigeonholed or given the room to grow.
I wonder if Jorgeous is going to take the room to grow.
Interesting.
Because my thing with Jorgeous, I love Jorgeous. I almost really even feel bad critiquing Jorgeous because I think I'm way too harsh on her, and I want to watch that a little bit because I think she's fantastic. I think she's got a lot of personality. She looks really cool. She does great looks, and like she can really charmingly perform. But I felt like her whole season, she was holding herself back in a lot of ways, and I feel like, one of the things that's tough about Drag Race is a lot of times people just behave stupidly, and it just is what it is for whatever reason. But there were so many moments where Jorgeous was just giving so much bimbo, and it really frustrated me because it wasn't, to me, coming off as like this is the personality of the queen, and when the time comes to be a success, it'll be there. It felt like the bimbo was really kind of holding her back in certain moments, and I'm really hoping that it's a different storyline this season, and that time away from Drag Race and time to grow and time to get older and grow her career has just kind of made her more resilient to what you need to be successful in the competition. And if it hasn't, and she's just, showing up, having some fun and heading out, that's fine too. I would just hate to see a storyline again where I'm just like, man, but if she got it, she would be winning this competition, because that's what it felt like a lot of the times during her season. It's just like, I think she maybe doesn't get it, and that's what's holding her back.
I love that read. Jojo, I think Jorgeous was a queen that when we first started the season, you were like, Bear, you love adorable little Latinas. You're gonna have a great time with her. And I would love to know what your opinion is outside of prepping it for me.
So Jorgeous is a queen that I had interesting, complicated feelings about. I felt like because Rue loved her so fiercely, other times it just felt a little, dare I say, unfair to other people who were there. And the way that her run shook out, I do think it's important to remember why are we mad at Jorgeous? We should be mad at production for doing that. Jorgeous had no hand in that. Jorgeous was there being herself. Like that's not fair to say, hey, you're getting some special treatment. I don't like you. No, that's what the show wants us to do. That's what the show wants in universe wants them to do is to bicker, and that's what happened with diabetes.
This isn't asking white people to recognize their privilege. This is saying one person is on a set, they can't control the universe.
Yes, and I think part of that came from where a lot of Jorgeous' talents lied didn't necessarily go with what Drag Race always asked for, but it felt like because they loved her so much, we were being told she's doing amazing when she's doing great at things, but there are some things that she's not the best at, and that's okay. Not everybody's Jinx Monsoon and best at everything, but I really hope that in between seasons and knowing like, all right, if I do go back for an All-Stars, she kind of did a little bit of the prep work of like, all right, did she try to read up a little bit more on comedy? Did she try to read up a little bit more on acting? Like the things that Drag Race asked for, so that we're not getting a situation where she's this wonderful, amazing person who seems like she'd be a really good time to smoke a blunt with, but she's not doing the best challenges. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I think for All-Stars, people want to see people do well in challenges more often than not, especially on a season like this. Like,
we're not
All-Stars,
looking for people to do a meditation sketch, forget 2 seconds and while they're banging the gong and then laugh at themselves.
I'd just be laughing at myself all day. But Jorgeous is this gorgeous, stunningly talented performer. If you've never seen Jorgeous perform, and I haven't gotten the opportunity to see it live, but I have seen some clips of like the shit she does from the ceiling. She risks her body. Like when Willow Pill said, "And she will die for drag," she was not kidding. Jorgeous is going to die for drag, and we will live eventually. And then we'll be sad, but then we'll live again. And she'll rise back like Glamazon, ready for the runway. She's really talented, really incredible. I don't know if all of her talents I don't know if Drag Race is the best showcase for all of her talents, but I am hopeful for a much better showcase and a much better run for the type of challenges that Drag Race asks for.
And
Based on their twinning in this confessional outfit situation, though, what I really want from this season's Snatch Game is Gottmik and Jorgeous doing Sugar and Spice.
oh my gosh, if you could elevate the show to the point where everybody has to do another drag queen that had been on the show.
Specifically on All-Stars, yeah, that would be really interesting. Because that's something about this show. We're getting to a point where there's so many seasons that we can do things like this.
Now, I just want to say, there's absolutely nothing any one of us can say that a combined aggregated 24 million people haven't already said. But clearly, Plastique Tiara is the most followed queen on the internet by some significant margin. This is, I feel so weird saying it, but I'm kind of impressed with this get. RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 9, and I really wonder if part of how you did it was you said, Plastique, you can do anything you want. You can go for any charity that makes you happy. And she said, okay, then Asian American Foundation is on the table, and they said, why not? Come out and represent who matters to you. If this is the season that gives us 2 incredible Asian queens winning, it would be, number one, double deserved, because both queens are incredible. But I do sort of think putting Plastique in when I think she went home 8th. I think she got 8th place. Bullshit. She is not an 8th place queen, but she did not have the best showing on her season for how talented she is and for how incredible she is. And I don't know. This does feel a little bit like going up against Shea Coulee.
We'll see. We don't know a lot about where she's at. I mean, I think it will be not dissimilar from Shea in that she has glowed up in every aspect. and that she will come really ready to compete. I have not seen her on a tour or anything yet. I think some queens just don't go to the Northeast.
They like the warmth. What can we say?
Right. So I haven't gotten to see her, but she is one that I can absolutely believe, just from her social media presence and how she works that she will be really ready to compete. But again, it just kind of it's sort of similar to Jorgeous, where it's like we won't really know until we're in it and we see what kind of game she's bringing. But I won't be surprised if she's amazing.
You know, JoJo, she is the most followed queen. I think in terms of successful queens, there's like Bianca Del Rio is like legitimately can sell out major comedy theaters. Trixie Mattel is worth more money than RuPaul.
And I actually think Trixie is the most followed queen.
I believe Plastique
on TikTok, Plastique is the most followed queen.
Yes, on TikTok for sure it is Plastique.
Yeah. And it is a designation that actually, by that number, the number of followers on TikTok she is leading by, she has the overall edge by aggregate. It's nuts. Plastique really is in an elite group of like 10 queens that includes Jinx. It includes Trixie. How do you feel about seeing her? I mean, I feel really stupid saying it, but the way I felt like, wow, you mean Doctor Who can afford to pay Jinx Monsoon? I kind of feel like, wait a minute, you feel like All Stars can afford to play Plastique?
Yes. Plastique has been on my most wanted list for an All Stars return for a while, but circling back to what we were talking about earlier, she has too much to lose if this is an elimination season. She has done so well for herself after her season in her social media presence and what she does. Like, this is my queen. I love her so much. She is like, besides being the most followed queen, she actually is like the queen of TikTok. Like, she's so good at it. I'm not even on TikTok, and she's so good at TikTok. It's insane. She also like makes me confused because I'm like, yes, I'm attracted to men. I'm obviously gay, but then I see Plastique and drag, and I'm like, was I gay? Have I ever been gay? No, I think I like women. No, I'm definitely into women. She's somebody who's like gorgeous both in and out. Also, I don't know why, but this is giving me Wesley TNG. I'm not sure why. I'm just getting Wesley TNG. But
maybe it's done today. Yes, I can see that.
Wesley, but yassified. I'm so incredibly happy that she's back, that they were able to get her, and that I'm hoping she demolishes it. She's somebody who I love, and I've always, from her run on the show, I saw her potential, and I really, really enjoy her, so I'm really excited to get to see what happens.
And let's round things out with Miss Congeniality herself, Nina West. I think she's a queen who, I don't know, she has a chance of winning, but I don't think she's a winning queen. I think she is a...
Is it the picture? Is that why you're laughing? I really promise you. I promise.
I know, because it was the first thing I thought
do.
when I was like, if Kevo is screen capping these, this is the most difficult one.
I mean, Nina is incredible.
Her name? Yeah.
She is amazing. She is brilliant. She is funny. She is... Oh God, I feel so weird saying it. I don't think RuPaul thinks she's pretty enough to win.
Well, and that's why I actually think she benefits from a season like this being charity and potentially no one goes home. And I feel like queens that do unfortunately have that, who we want to see on All-Star seasons, but unfortunately frequently do have early cut on them, thanks to whatever Rue's proclivities are. I really like the idea of a no-go home season and being able to see her make it all the way through.
I think she's incredible. I think she deserves a crown, but history does not favor the Nina Wests. So they are a little bit more Glinda, Witch of the North, than they are Witch of the Nina West. How do you feel about Nina West, Joj?
Nina West is a phenomenal entertainer, literally winner of Entertainer of the Year. I think she was somebody on Drag Race who... Similar to how Saphira auditioned for Drag Race 11 times, Nina West had auditioned for a really long time, and she was such an incredible get. I really enjoy everything she kind of does. I love her. Disney approach to drag, where she literally works with Disney. She does a lot of drag story time. She makes this very fun, bubbly character that's family friendly in a lot of ways. And sometimes there is, a place for that. There is a place for that in drag. It doesn't always have to be raunchy, but it also doesn't always have to be sanitized. And I like that she kind of tries to bridge the gap between both of those. I think she's a phenomenal person. I cannot wait for her Snatch Game. I'm going to call, and if there's going to be any shot, I'm calling now that she's winning Snatch Game. Because arguably, I think she probably could have won season 11. Silky's TS was great. I don't want to take away from Silky. But I also really enjoyed her Harvey Fierstein and her Joanne Worley.
I cannot wait to see what these queens bring to the table. It is so exciting to get to talk about these All-Stars queens. And we're going to be talking about them all season long. You guys know we're going to be doing Sunday night coverage of All-Stars, bringing you that Ass 9 that you're all looking forward to. Kevo, do you have a last pick? Quick, just looking at this list. Who's your choice for a winner? And where can we find you on the interwebs?
Oh, I'm so bad at that. I'm always so bad at that. I'm just excited for this combination of talent. I feel like I know the least about Shannel, but everyone else is pretty excited about her. So I think the fact that it's for charity is really cool. So I think I'm going to, since I got to go first, do the really lame, they're all winners, and make somebody else have to pick. And you can find me on the socials being a total wuss when it comes to making choices at Kevo Really. That's KEVOREALLY.
Well, then I think
Jojo,
you're about to say. Then I think it falls to Boulder Shoulders down there to tell us what's his choice for a queen to win, and where everybody can find you on the interwebs.
My pick to win. I'm Team Gottmik. I love me some Mick. Truly, just look at the promo. Mama, look at the material. I mean, can we just? And you can follow me places standing Gottmik so hard. Everywhere at Peak Jonah. That's PEAK.
That's you, handsome, right down there. TK.
Okay. I guess I will go with Plastique. I think she's great. She is the one. She did all of the work right. Her teeth look fantastic, but
she's
they are
the
not,
one.
They're not veneers. Her face looks amazing, but it looks like she just went and got a couple good chemical peels. Anyway, I just think she's gorgeous. I think she could really be one to watch. Yeah, that's that. And you can find me at TK Elemental.
And I am here to say, I think it's kind of like Gottmik. It's somewhere between Gottmik and Plastique, but if I have a personal vote, I'm just going to throw out Angeria. Definitely deserves a crown. What a human. And that is how I feel. As for me, you can check out the background loop of mine here over at Nico Action Music and more. You can find me over at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. And we have a lot more exciting stuff for you coming all year long, and we cannot wait to bring it to you. But guys, don't forget to check us out here at X's for Show. Search the internet. You guys can find enough amazing material to keep you guys busy between Sunday to Sunday. But of course, we always have X-Men 97 and Comic Book Wednesdays, Sci-Fi Saturdays, and more. You guys can check us out in these archives. And 3 things: like, comment, subscribe. We are so excited about all our new fans. You guys are so incredible. It's so exciting. But we got 3 things we want you guys to do for you. Number 1, stay safe. It's a spooky world out there. Number 2, be brave, because your inner self is what these queens are always fighting for, with their inner selves. And number 3, evolve daily. Like every one of these queens, when we saw them in yesterday, we thought they were cool. When we saw them online a week ago, we thought it was amazing. But who we're going to see next month on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 9 is going to be the best. And that's how we feel about you guys. So until you guys are on RuPaul Drag Race All-Stars Season 17, we'll see you.